back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And first, I want to thank you all so much for submitting your questions, whether it's through my social medias or on YouTube. I'm looking forward to shooting that coffee chat Q&A in the next couple of days, and you guys had some great questions and I'm excited to answer them. But until then, let's do a taste test of the two newer, not as new, Barista Creations Lungo pods that they revamped. So the first one we're going to try is the Vanilla. I found out that although it's spelled kind of weird, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's spelled like Vaniglia, I think, but it's supposed to be the Italian word for vanilla, and it's supposed to be pronounced Vanilla. So yeah, needless to say, I've been pronouncing that wrong, very wrong, in fact, in many life scenarios, as well as probably on this channel in my last video, so I apologize in advance for all the Italians that I've offended watching my channel. Okay, I'm sorry. But yes, in addition to taste testing the Vanilla, we're going to be taste testing the Caramello pod, and that is also going to be a lungo from the Barista Creations. Both of these were the revamped versions. They kind of have the 8-ounce versions in the Virtual line, like we talked about. I know I've taste tested the sweet vanilla before and the golden caramel. These are like the mini versions that are going to be for lungos, so they're going to produce about 3 ounces of liquid, so a little bit less concentrated than espresso, but going to be less volume than the 8-ounce cup that you would get with the Virtual line. I'm interested to see how they compare. I will say, it looks like these are both straight up South American Arabicas. I didn't really see a lot about this coffee on the website, but this one is supposed to be South American Arabicas. I'm assuming both are kind of artificially flavored, and both of them are going to be likely well balanced. I did see that both of these are supposed to have a little bit more acidity, in addition to, you know, being well-rounded in terms of bitterness, roastiness, all that fun stuff. And I've honestly been liking them, more specifically the vanilla than the caramel. I do like the golden caramel a little bit more, but we'll get into that. But before we get into that and the recipes that I like for both of these pods, let's give them a taste, starting with the vanilla, like I said. So I just brewed it, and the aromatics are like toasted vanilla marshmallow. I love it. I adore it, actually. And as you get closer, it smells a little bit more nutty, which is really nice. It could be the roastiness of the pod, but yeah, let's give it a taste. Okay. I'm very pleasantly surprised by this pod, just because it is very roasty and it still tastes very strong and bold. Now, I've said this countless times, and I'm going to say it again because we're doing another lungo video. I usually don't like lungos for a couple of reasons. One, because I usually think that they water it down too much. Like, I don't know how much coffee they put in there and how it differs between the pods, or the strength at which they roast them at, or what happens with it. But often when you brew pods on a lungo, even when it's meant to be a lungo, it still tastes very weak. And it doesn't hold up well in iced coffees. Two, I think because it tastes a little bit weaker, it tends to taste like watered down dirt. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy when I say that. Maybe you're a big fan of lungos, but I think with that being said, it makes it very hard to water them down even more with things like ice in an iced coffee, which I prefer to have my coffees at, because, you know, it tends to just make it taste even worse. So I've been pleasantly surprised with these revamps because I haven't really felt that way, but I still am pleasantly surprised with how strong, like, things like the Nociola pod is, like this one is, when you put it over ice. So that's good. In terms of flavor profiles, I think that this is a little bit nutty, but also very, very roasty, which is where the strength is coming from. It says it's supposed to be a little bit acidic. I'm not really getting a lot of that acidity. I'm getting just a smidge more bitterness, but overall, I think it's very well-rounded. I have no complaints about it. I think this is a very good staple in terms of lungos to have in your original line pod collection. And I regularly use this to make like iced vanilla coffees, which we'll get into recipes in just a few minutes, but I like it. I think I would rate this a 7.5 out of 10. I might buy this again over the other lungos, maybe this one in the Nociola pod that I reviewed a few weeks back, but not disappointed at all. So yeah, let's give the Caramello pod a smell and a taste. Okay, so I just brewed the Caramello pod, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm already a smidge disappointed just because when I reviewed the Golden Caramel pod in the Virtual line a few weeks back, I thought that the aromatics were like amazing. The caramel was like spot on in terms of smell, and this one, I mean, it's a smidge sweet, but it's not really giving caramel, okay? So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. And it just smells very roasty. But let's give it a taste. Okay, not giving caramel a lot from this pod. I do think the strength is very nice though. I think it's very roasty, and they did say that both of these pods were a little bit acidic. I definitely get the acidity from this one, not really the vanilla one, but I don't know. I'm just disappointed with the whole caramel taste of it. I think that the Golden Caramel definitely tasted a smidge more like caramel. I was still not very psyched about that one either, to be honest. I just don't think they're really hitting the caramel biscuit notes that they say they do. But maybe it's just me. Let me know how you guys think of the Caramello pod. But overall, I think I'm going to rate this a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's bad. It's better than some of the other original line pods that I've tried, like for example the filter style. Absolutely hated those. But I do think, like, in terms of the Barista Creations revamped lungos that I've tried, in addition to even some of the other lungos I've tried, I do think that this just isn't it for me. I think I would try or buy literally all the other Barista Creations lungos in the original line over this one first. And if I had to rank all of them, I think my first would be the Nociola one, my second would be the Vanilla one, then the Sioco Latino, and then the Caramello. Just because I think all of them really kind of stay true to the taste for the most part of what they say the pod is. This one kind of doesn't to me. So that is my taste test for both of these pods, and those are my ratings. Now, let's get into recipes that I've really been enjoying for both of these pods. Okay, so I have a few recipes to go over with you guys, and I'm so excited to share them with you. I'm letting my creative juices flow because I've tried these pods in a few different ways. And I'm going to try to put all the materials that I'm showing you guys right now on my Amazon storefront before I post this video. So if you don't see it, remind me. I'm leaving it up to you. Remind me, because my head's everywhere. So overall, I've been enjoying both of these pods iced. I'm an ice gal, you guys already know. But for the Caramello pod, I've been enjoying it the first way as a Dulce de Leche iced coffee. So I have this syrup from Jordan Skinny Syrups. It's sugar-free. I think a lot of the caramel recipes I'm going to be showing you guys are sugar-free. So you guys can choose to do it that way, or you can, you know, invest in a syrup that's not sugar-free. But yeah, Dulce de Leche syrup. Again, as a sugared add-on, you can do Dulce de Leche sauce. I like to drizzle this on top, around the cup, all that fun stuff to just give it a nice creamy, thick texture to my latte or my iced coffee. And then I do that with any milk of choice. Or if you have a caramel creamer, that works absolutely fantastic with this recipe too. In terms of another recipe, I usually just use a regular caramel syrup. I go back to the basics with it. And I do that with a caramel creamer. Maybe I'll drizzle a little bit of caramel sauce on top to really just make it, again, amazing. And that's, you know, a combo of a sugar-free syrup mixed with a regular sugared syrup. And then the last way I've been really enjoying it is salted caramel, of course. So you can do some salted caramel pumps. And again, I'll give a sample recipe down below. And then I'll do it with like a sea salt caramel toffee syrup in the cup or on top. And then sometimes I'll choose to do either a salted caramel creamer, like I had one from Honest to Goodness that I really like, or just a regular caramel creamer, whatever you guys choose. You can't really go wrong. It's absolutely amazing. As for the vanilla pod, I've been liking it a few different ways. A couple of them are a little bit weird, so don't judge me. But let's get into it. So I think the first way we can all get behind, right? And that's just going to be a plain vanilla iced coffee using the sugar-free or the zero sugar Torani Puremade Vanilla syrup with just a splash of a beautiful vanilla creamer. Plain and simple. I've been really liking it so far with the vanilla creamer from Chobani and the vanilla creamer from Califia Farms. I think those are both great options for this recipe. And let's go back to the basics with it. I really like it. And I think I like this syrup so much more than the sugar-free French vanilla syrup from Torani. So if you're looking for just a more elevated, plain, you know, syrup vanilla that you guys can get, I would highly recommend this one rather than that one, to be honest with you. I usually I usually am not like a huge like vanilla iced coffee fan. I do really enjoy vanilla, but this has really just brought it home for me. And I've really been enjoying just a plain and simple iced coffee like that. So highly recommend this syrup. The next recipe that I've been really liking, that I often pair a couple pumps of with this zero sugar vanilla syrup, is the toasted marshmallow syrup from Monin. It kind of makes a sweet, creamy, toasted vanilla like iced coffee, like maybe one you would get from Starbucks with the toasted vanilla syrup. So I've been really liking that with just, again, splash of vanilla creamer, whichever vanilla creamer you choose. Another syrup that I've been mixing with the plain zero sugar vanilla syrup is a toasted black sesame syrup from Torani Puremade. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but this syrup just gives a nice like nutty, nice umami like taste to the vanilla that kind of elevates it. So I've been really surprised with how much I've been liking it. I don't think I have the syrup on me right now, but I have been liking this vanilla syrup with a coconut syrup as well. And I tried it with the sweet vanilla pod, and it just makes it. It tastes so good. And the last recipe I've been really liking with the vanilla pod that's a little bit weird again is the vanilla salt syrup from Torani Puremade. And I don't know if this syrup made my coffee syrups video a while back, because I discussed some of my favorites and kind of rated each one in categories. This vanilla salt syrup, I budged and bought it because TikTok was going crazy, coffee TikTok specifically, was going crazy over this syrup. And at first I didn't really understand the hype about it because I don't know, it was a little bit too salty for me, but I found that it's really, really grown on me in recipes, especially if you pair it with like a sweeter oat milk. It's literally so good. Or like a creamer, like a sweet vanilla creamer. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. It's grown on me. And so if you're thinking of just buying a weirder syrup that you don't know if you'll like or not, just try it. Give it a try. I've been really liking it with the vanilla pod. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It means so much to have you guys support the channel. And for all the people that won the Bestpresso giveaway, I'm sending out your packages now. Please respond to me if you haven't already done so, wherever I'm contacting you, whether it be on social media or in the YouTube comments, because you have won and I want to give you guys a Bestpresso pod. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in, supporting the channel, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye.